What's going on, y'all? Today's Saturday, October 12th. I just got down to the shop. It's about 6:30 right now, and man, it is cool this morning. I think it's 49 or 50 right now. I think it was the first night we've had dip into the 40s, and man, I like it. I'm ready for winter. I'm ready for fall. I'm hoping this year, since we actually got some rain, that I'm hoping we actually have a fall this year. The past couple of years, for us folks here in the South and Southeast and out West, I know it affects everyone. I'm just the way it's affected us the past couple of years, with it being so dry. Everything goes from summertime to winter, and we don't ever get to see the leaves change and actually get to have a fall. So I just got down to the shop to get busy. I'll give y'all an update first before we get started on everything we got going on. Pops and I have been super busy. Today being the 12th, I don't think we're gonna have time to get our car ready to race next weekend, the 19th. There's some big races happening this weekend that we would love to have been a part of. It just didn't work out for us. The MAG, I think it's the Cotton Picking 100 this weekend. I think that's what it is. Some big races up north. Man, shout out to all the guys that went to Brownstown last night, or this weekend. We actually got some guys that run around here in open wheel that are up there running that big B-Mod show. I think it's 10,000 to win. 10,000 win, something like that. And so shout out to those guys for making the haul up there. And shout out to every one of y'all that's racing this weekend. Hope y'all have great success this weekend, and always be safe. Always remember why we race. I know we don't do this for the money. So I think a lot of people forget to have fun. And I get it. Equipment's expensive. Parts are expensive. But at the end of the day, we're there to have fun. I am anyway. I think, like I said, a lot of people forget to have fun. And they feel like racing's a burden on them now. And they've been racing for years. And it's just this economy and everything. And hopefully it'll get better. Hopefully we can all enjoy it more. So anyway, Pops and I haven't worked much on the personal car. Y'all seen in the last video where we had done the fender tops and part of the side of the fender on the passenger side, and we have since moved the car to the side and been busy building chassis number 8. So that's priority, and we want to get these chassis knocked out. Like we said, that was our goal, to knock out 10 of them before the end of the year. And we've picked the pace up and trying to, just focus on getting these chassis in a timely manner. And we don't want these guys to have to wait a lot. And of course, with the baby on the way, a little update on that. She's measuring a week early. We went last week for the 4D ultrasound, which is wicked. Y'all could have warned me that it was pretty cool. Got to see her little hand and feet and face, and man, it's pretty awesome. I'm getting excited. I can't wait to do things with the little girl. I can't wait. I just told Holly last night after supper that I look forward to the rituals. I look forward to starting, Christmas rituals and holiday rituals and Halloween rituals or whatever. I look forward to starting all that with Anna Lee, and man, I get excited talking about it. We are, like I said, on number 8. Pops and I have worked on it 2 evenings. We actually had a little hiccup with tubing. So now that we have the right tubing, and the tubing that we need, we've been able to get a lot done. So we worked on it Wednesday and Thursday. Last night we had some obligations and weren't able to get down here and work on it. So that's why we're down here right now, early Saturday morning. And we'll show y'all what we got going on. I think Pops and I got a pretty good bit done for two evenings. And hopefully we can put in a good solid day today and get a lot more of it done. And I'll explain the changes we're making. I know I told y'all in the last video that there's some changes we were going to be making. And we're trying to evolve. We're trying to evolve into a nicer chassis and make things better. I don't know if that's the word. We're trying to evolve into a better, stronger, nicer chassis. And even the changes that we've made so far on this one, I already see things that I want to change on the next one to make it that much more better. So I see Pops got some stuff done yesterday, and I'll show what he got done to kind of help us out here, and I'll explain why he done what he did. So y'all can hear the dogs coming through the shop. I just let them out of the house, so they're running rampant right now. But we're gonna get busy building the factory stock. I'm gonna turn it around, explain to y'all what we're doing. I'm gonna get busy slinging some tubing. Y'all hang out. Alrighty, so as you see, number 8. This is 2 evenings worth, and Pops and I were slinging metal. We were trying to get this thing knocked out. I know the frame looks rough, but it actually isn't that dirty. It's just kind of surface rust. This was actually one of the cleanest frames we have gotten from the junkyard, and it's actually one of the straightest. I mean, this thing, usually we have to play with the jack stands a little bit, and I usually have to tack weld the jack stand to the frame and hold everything level. And this thing sits perfectly level, front to back, side to side. So it was a good frame, and hopefully we can get some more like this. I told Pops in the future it would have to be reflected in the price due to a little bit more labor. But in the future, I would like to get a sandblaster, even if it's just a cheap Harbor Freight deal or something off Amazon, or even one of those attachments where you can use media blast with a pressure washer. I would like to do that and get these frames stripped and very clean before we build them. It would look better on us. It would look better for the customer, and it would be easier for the customer. So they wouldn't have to do that. Jordan, the one getting this chassis here, did tell me that they may paint it instead of powder coat, because they have a guy that offered to do it, and he said he would sandblast it. So that's why we just cleaned off where we're welding and grinding everything smooth. So they'll sandblast it before they paint it, and I'm sure they'll primer it and all that. So some changes we've made right here. I took that 1.5 inch 120 wall tubing through the top of the frame rail. I notched the frame rail and welded that tube in there. Now I'm going to plate around that tube on the side, on the outside, and on the inside. That's just something I want to do. I feel like we were lacking a little bit of strength right here under the driver, and I'm not saying that the cars we've built prior to this are unsafe. They're safe, I promise. My personal car is built the same way. So what we did change, though, is we took that bar through the frame rail and straight out. Instead of making that 90-degree bend right here. Hey, buddy. Instead of making that 90-degree bend right here, what that was doing was not allowing me to put a seatbelt tab where I wanted it. It was right in the radius of that 90. So I didn't like it. And also I wanted to be able to tie in from the rear dash bar with a tube straight down to that right there to help support under the driver. And I may do 2. Pops and I talked about this the other night. I may do another one in the middle. So it's just things like that we're trying to change to make it even better. Y'all don't pay attention to the tubing ends. I ran out of caps, so they're actually on the way. So I'll cap all these tubing ends once we do the welding on it. I did cap the dash bar though, because it was going to have a bunch welded to it. So I went ahead and capped it with a smaller cap that I had. And just waiting on the ones for the 1.5-inch tubing. Another thing that we changed, on our rear hoop, we used to do a 75, a 75, a 15, and a 15-degree bend. And that gave us our 180 across the bottom. So now I'm doing just a 90 right here and not doing a 15 here or a 75. And what that is doing is bringing this rear hoop out further this way. It's bringing this straight out further instead of having it in here. As a matter of fact, from my center line, I can kind of give you an idea right here. There's the center line where I mark my tubing. And of course I have a mark right there at the end of that tube, and there's a mark right here at the end of this tube. When you do 75, 75, and 15 and 15, you go off of that center mark, and then you go, out a certain measurement and out a certain measurement. And those measurements were even when you were doing the same bends on each side. Well, from the center mark to my 75 is actually 9.25 inches, and from the center mark to my 90 is actually 12.5 to here. So that's what I'm saying. We're adding tubing here and getting this further out this way. Reason being, I noticed on a couple of guys, some guys like to move their seat all the way to that door bar at the bottom, right out there. I didn't like where the rear hoop, where the halo was bending in like we do. I didn't like where that halo was hitting above their head. Now, let me say this. It's not close to their head because we do make them so tall. Now, with that said, since I did do the 90 here and I am moving the halo out, I did shorten this rear hoop. Most of our cars in the past have been 42 inches from the frame to the bottom of the rear hoop. And that's for headroom. That's for safety. I know a lot of people question why we build our cars so tall. I like headroom. I have seen cars flip on their lid and crush the cage. It's not fun. It's not fun. I don't like short cages. And I'm not calling anybody out, so don't come at me. I have seen 4-cylinder cars. I have seen guys running older late models that are short. And when you roll through the pits and I can see the top of your helmet sticking above that halo, that's not good. That's not good. That's not safe. If you go on your lid and there's a rock or anything laying there that could go through the roof of that car and hit you in the head, that's a bad deal. That's a bad deal. And I'm not saying that can't happen with a tall cage car. I'm just saying with a tall cage car, you have more room between your head and the ground. So when the car does roll over, heaven forbid it does not, that you're gonna have a little more room. So since I'm able to move this halo out further and away from the head of the driver, we shortened this to 40. We shortened it 2 more inches. And I say 2 more inches because my personal car, from the frame to the bottom of the rear hoop, is 46. So that's why my personal car looks so tall. Dustin really, y'all remember when we built his car, he has number 2. His is really tall because we were building them the height of the way we started building them. We have since adjusted all that. We get that they look funny It also has to do with the way the body's done most of the time. So that's a few updates. We got some more updates we're going to be doing on the rear clip, but I'll show y'all that when we get to it. And right now I'm going to start welding up a lot of these joints that we already have on the car that can't move, can't flex right now. That way I can get that further ahead. And that will allow Pops to get down here. I know it's early. I don't bother him this early in the morning, so he'll come down here when he gets ready. But sun's starting to come up, and we're very blessed. We're very thankful that we get to do what we do. So can't thank y'all enough for watching these videos. I know it's been another week or so since I've gotten them out. 2 weeks. Can't even remember. I've got so much going on. But anyway, if something happens and we're able to get some sheet metal, I gotta get one more piece of sheet metal and body bracing for our personal car. If something happens and we're able to put that on, we're gonna try to go down the 19th and shake the car down. We're gonna try. I'm not saying we're going to, we're gonna try. That's just something we'd like to do before the end of the season. And if we don't, we don't. If we do, we do. So y'all hang out. I'm gonna throw it on time lapse and get a little welding done, and we're gonna sling some tubing. Y'all hang out. All right, y'all. I'm gonna move this camera back here where y'all can see what we're gonna be doing. What I was talking about Pops was doing yesterday is there's some factory mounts right in there. That's like it's like a brace mount or whatever. They mount brake lines to it and fuel line, whatever. So Pops trimmed that out right there, and then he cleaned all that up, and we're gonna box that frame rail with 1/8 inch. And that's what Pops was just doing, was sliding out that 1/8 inch sheet right there. He's already got it measured and we laid it out. So we're gonna take the plasma, cut off 4 inches of that 1/8 inch, and we'll weld it from there all the way up to right up there. So all that'll be plated 1/8 inch, and then we'll tie in our bars to that. So it'll be beefier. But we're gonna get this plasma out. Pop's getting the plasma out. We're gonna get back there and cut that off. Y'all hang out. Well, y'all, I am an idiot. I had the camera facing back there where we was cutting it, where I was cleaning up that piece. I didn't even turn it toward me welding over there. I know that, so I'll have to be shortening that time lapse because I thought it was recording the whole time. But there's all that welded solid. 1/8 inch plate. And obviously I'm not gonna try to weld where that tab was in there. I mean, I could fill that gap up, but I'd be here all day. And I think she's solid enough. So, well, Pops and I were just discussing how long our bars were under the seat. That's what we'll do now. We're gonna put our bar in here that our seat mounts mount to. Then we'll put a bar under here that goes under the feet so it protects from under the bottom. So we'll get all that in there. We're gonna put those 2 bars in. Of course, that's 120 wall stuff. And everything around the driver in our cars and everything under the driver is all 120. Minus like your diagonal bar braces like this. Now your mains, all this is 120. This bar is 120 all the way out to the right front. If you know why we take that 120 out to the right front, good for you. If you don't know, we're gonna keep you guessing. So now I can get the camera pointing in the right direction. Move it over here where y'all can actually see what we're doing. So I'm gonna measure real quick and get a bar put in there and get a bar put in here. Once those are in there, then we can continue with drive shaft loop, and then we're gonna work on mid plate bars. We do these out of 120 as well, since they have the weight of the engine on there and that mid plate's bolted to it. We do these uprights right here out of 120, and that's what our tabs come off of to go to the mid plate. So we like to make sure everything that has something heavier or is protecting the driver is 120 wall. That way it is the strongest it can be. So
be careful on our 120. I didn't get the 35 sticks of it.
But I'm gonna measure for that real quick. I'm gonna leave it up on real time while we do that, because they as you can tell, that bar there is level with the top of the frame. We just took the plasma and cut the frame and slid that piece of tubing in there so it will be flush with the top of the frame, so our floor pan will sit flat on it. So obviously these bars in here are going to go out to the top of the frame over there from this bar over. So, but I plated that whole side over there because we want it strong again underneath the driver.
So by some chance it gets bumped from that side.
Yeah, it'd be like power over there.
Take me.
Yeah, right here. All right. Also, let me back this camera up just a little bit so I can kind of explain something right here. I get numerous messages and phone calls and texts asking why we don't tie that right there to this frame rail. Now, if anybody's seen a metric car or metric frame, they bend easy. So we don't tie this together because we'd rather this frame rail bend than our main cage. Yes, you can X-brace. A lot of guys X-brace off of the frame rail to frame rail. I'm a firm believer in X-bracing. Do we like to do it? No. That's just the way we design ours. You can design yours how you want. There's nothing wrong with any way you do it as long as it's braced. We just don't like to brace these together in case they get hit right here and it don't bend this roll cage. Because you can always replace this frame rail section, but you go to replacing that main cage, you might as well throw it in the trash.
Yep.
So, all right, we was talking about that frame rail. My wife pulled up, y'all, so had to report to the boss. All right, we're gonna measure those and put them in. Pops measured them. I'm gonna put my eye on it. Make sure. Everything's equal. Turn y'all this way. Where y'all can see what we're y'all can see what we're doing. This is the 17 3/4. Yep. That is the exact length we need, y'all, but we don't have enough for a notch. No. Did it get used for something else?
And there you know where you're going to do.
16. Good?
Yeah.
Let me turn y'all around this way now. Whoop! I got tangled up. Tangled up in my welding lead there.
Front. Right.
We're gonna get those welded in. Y'all hang up. All right, y'all. We got those welded in. As y'all can tell, it looks a lot beefier than what we've been doing. So that is our 120 wall. That is 1/8 inch plate in the frame rail. And we got it all tied together. So now Pops and I are gonna work on the mid plate bars. But I don't want these videos to get too long. This one's gonna be 20 something, 23, 24 minutes, I think, if I add it up right. By the time I edit some, it may be a little shorter, a little longer. So Pops and I are gonna close out this video. We just got through picking up everything out of the floor, sweeping up our mess. We like to keep everything clean while we're working on it, so.
Before I can lay down and go sleep.
So we just like to keep, you know, you're walking on all this metal and dirt and stuff, and we're having to crawl in the floor. So we like to keep it clean while we're working on it. And so Pops and I are gonna close out this video. And y'all seen us build these cars 100 times now. I say 100 times. We've only built 8 of them, but video-wise. So we're not going to video every single thing on these cars. We're going to start slinging tubing and get done what we can get done. And then tomorrow we're going to pick back up and do a new video. And we'll show y'all what we get done this afternoon or to the rest of today. But that's going to be it for this video. We appreciate y'all watching. Y'all tell us what y'all think of the updates we're doing. Like I said, you know, showing how we're going to tie all that together. And I've already made a decision that I'm going to, instead of doing round tube through the frame right there, in the future, I'm going to do square tube. It would just clean that up right there a lot. Going through the frame, I can notch the frame easier, better. Sit square tube down in there and weld it. And we'll use 1/8 inch square tube. And I think that would clean that up right there a lot. So it's just stuff we're making changes, y'all. We're trying to make them better. And y'all see how beefy that is under the driver now. And of course, like I said, it'll be tied together. So hopefully we're making the right steps, making the right changes. But for now, we're going to start slinging tubing. Appreciate y'all watching. And until next time.
Appreciate everybody. Thank y'all very much. Until next time, God bless you.
See y'all.